Okay, in this video, I'm busting the 5 remaining myths that are secretly damaging your relationship. Maybe you already know some of these, but I promise you there's a ton of new gems in here. And by the way, man, good to see you back here. And hopefully you got a lot from part 1 of this video series. If you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you click the link below and check it out. I'm also going to give you ways to counter these myths and take intimacy to a whole new level. You will become a new man in her eyes, and you may need to hit the camping store and buy some wife repellent to keep her off you. Just kidding, obviously. Okay, let's pick up right where we left off. Doesn't validation feel amazing? Being seen, heard, and understood and complimented for the truth of who you are, it's a precious gift, right? One that can be bestowed by your wife. You're thinking, yes, Tom, so what's the problem? Well, the problem to look out for is independence. Lots of guys think it means becoming a cold-hearted, stoic rock incapable of expressing or feeling emotions. And that's why the 6th myth in our series here, or the first one in this video, is myth number 6. Independence means never needing validation or support. And this myth is misleading. True independence is about self-confidence and self-reliance, whilst recognizing the value of human connection and support. Seeking validation or support when needed doesn't diminish independence. It's actually a sign of emotional maturity. Healthy relationships involve mutual support, reinforcing the importance of balancing self-reliance and interdependence. I'm going to tell you a story. I had a client once tell me that he felt he wasn't very good at holding a masculine frame, that is, providing a safe space for his wife to express herself. He told me that whenever they spoke, the conversations ended in her pulling away and distancing himself because he wound up talking about himself and his feelings constantly to the detriment of her emotional expression. He said he wanted to get better at being there for her, but also felt that he wasn't understood by her and that he also wanted validation. So the solution that I gave him is also a quick fix, and it's actually quick fix number 6. Try that again, that's a tough one. It's called structural exchange, okay? Expressing your emotions is essential in relationships. Your wife wants to know who you are at your core so that she can trust and grow with you. But when you open up and talk about your inner world, don't just open the floodgates and drown her. Create a structure around your emotions so that you are perceived as someone with emotional maturity. Here's an example. My dear, I'd love to talk to you about something that's been weighing down on me lately. A colleague and I exchanged difficult words last week, and I'd love to hear your perspective on how I approached the discussion, as well as where you think I went wrong. Do you have 10 minutes after dinner tonight? I was thinking I could make us tea, or perhaps a glass of wine, if you'd prefer. Here, you've provided her with a time limit so that she knows what she's agreeing to. You've told her what specifically you're trying to solve so that she doesn't just become your therapist, and you've also offered her something in exchange for holding space for you. Now that's masculine leadership. Okay, I wish I didn't have to include this next myth. And thankfully, most of us know this isn't true, but a lot of guys behave as if it were true. That healthy relationships don't require work. Let me quickly hit the boring stuff first. The myth that healthy relationships don't require work is not only misleading, but also potentially harmful. In reality, all relationships, regardless of how strong and loving they are, require effort, communication, and compromise to thrive and endure over time. Firstly, we all have our own baggage, wounds, perspectives, opinions, and beliefs. When you jumble all that together, shoving 2 people under one roof with kids' financial obligations and responsibilities, things are bound to get pretty messy. I'm picturing a cat right now playing with jumbled balls of string that are 2 meters long. It feels insane in my head. And that's probably why I'm a dog person, to be honest with you. But look, just like unraveling balls of string, healthy relationships take time, effort, and dedication. As life unfolds, circumstances change. Job stresses, financial challenges, family issues, and personal growth all have the potential to strain a relationship. Think of your relationship like a doubles tennis tournament, alright? Let's say you're coming off the back of a championship victory. You've had time to celebrate. You've kicked up your feet, enjoyed the riches you've earned through hard work and dedication. When you were hungry for the win, you and your wife were unstoppable. You were practicing non-stop. You were determined to be the best team you could be. You were focusing on your diet, your sleep, your strength, your speed, your skill, your versatility. From a relationship standpoint, you were taking care of yourself. You were working on your confidence. You were dating. You were courting your wife. You wanted to be with her, and you would stop at nothing to fight for her. And what about now? Do you still have the hunger for another championship? Do you still see her as someone worth fighting for? worth giving to, worth practicing with? As time goes by, it's easy to become complacent and forget that winning requires ongoing dedication. In a team, everyone has a role to play, and each member needs to give the best effort they can. So if you start slacking off, neglecting your part, taking your teammates for granted, the team's performance suffers and you risk losing the game and the championship, right? Then you may even start blaming her for the culture of the relationship. I'm just saying. To keep your relationship team strong, remember that you both have vital roles to play. Keep communication lines open, show your appreciation, and put in the effort needed to win that championship together. Don't let complacency weaken your relationship. A successful relationship is hard work. An unsuccessful relationship is hard work. Choose your hard. Here's the quick fix. Don't try to solve all your problems in one day. Getting back to the top and having a crack at the championship takes time. So in between now and next week, choose one goal that, if achieved, will allow you to look back on the week and feel that you made good use of your time. Here's an example for you. Go for 3 runs before work. Or another example, complete 2 12-hour fasts. Okay, now, the 8th myth might take a dig at your belief system, but I'm not trying to offend you. I want to show you how beliefs are only good or bad insofar as they influence behavior. And the myth, number 8, is soulmates exist. You probably knew I was going to bring up this bad boy and debunk it. So whether this myth is true or not isn't important to me, all right? What does matter to me as a coach and a therapist who truly wants you to thrive in your marriage is how you act based upon the idea of soulmates. If you think of your wife as your soulmate, you might either consciously or unconsciously assume that the relationship should be effortless and that it should always feel like love is enough to sustain it. And this can lead to complacency, as you may not put in the necessary effort required to nurture and maintain the relationship, believing that it should just thrive on its own. So even if she is your soulmate, act as though the only thing that will ensure you both stay together is your commitment to personal development and a sustained nurturing of the relationship. Like, and here comes the annoying metaphor, a beautiful garden. On the other side, you might be watching this thinking, hey pal, my issue isn't complacency here. It's the fear of losing my soulmate, a literal piece of my soul. I hear you. But let me point out exactly why that fear is paradoxically creating the very scenario you're terrified of. Fear is our flight response, remember? It's one way of trying to bring greater control to a situation we don't want, can't stand, or attempt to avoid. So you might be exhibiting overly possessive behaviors. You might be the nice guy, right? But true love is about freedom. Love is a choice. Your wife wants to choose you because she's excited to join you on your adventure. So if you think she's your soulmate and that's leading to a terrible fear of abandonment, I'd like you to throw that belief in the bin. Right now, your only soulmate is you. If you'd like to share your life with another soul, choose your wife. But remember, just as we discussed in myth number 5, her responsibility isn't to complete you. Her responsibility is her personal growth and development, which, by way of luck and decision, makes the adventure of your life more fulfilling, and vice versa. You're both giving to each other. Here's the quick fix. Make this your new mantra. Instead of soulmates exist, say to yourself, meaningful relationships develop over time. I know it's not catchy, but you get the point. And here's the final point I want you to make. Your marriage isn't where it's at because of one giant mistake. And I'm going to include affairs in here, contrary to popular belief. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it also didn't fall in a day. It took years and years, maybe decades of complacency, saying the wrong thing, not attending to her needs, etc., getting to where you're at right now, right? But I want you to get pumped up about this. You have the opportunity to rebuild Rome. It won't happen in a day, but your wife's distancing is a gift to help reignite and rebirth the man she once fell in love with. And speaking of Rome, let me drive this point home with a quote by the former Roman emperor and father of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your soulmate has provided you with a gift, a challenge, a test to grow. See it like that, and you'll rebuild Rome one brick at a time. Okay, let me tell you another story. I once had a client who was struggling tremendously, stuck in a love-hate relationship, a perpetuating cycle of infatuation and contempt. He was obsessed with falling in love with his girlfriend time and time again, and was willing to push her away time and time again, just so he could bathe in the honeymoon phase one more time. We all know that feeling. The thing is, as we got to the core roots of his problems, we recognized that some unconscious part of him was afraid of being independent. His fear of being alone caused him to armor himself up against his girlfriend and I actually haven't forgotten his words even to this day. He said to me, "If I leave her first, then I don't have to get hurt and experience the pain of loss." I want you to think about that for a second. You can repeat it to yourself if you need to. Because what he's really saying there, and I applauded him tremendously for his honesty, it was powerful, but what he's saying is, I'd rather hurt someone else than be alone. That's why this myth is if you're spending less time together, it means you're headed for divorce. Let's get deep for a second. We're all alone in this world. No one can die our deaths for us. No one will ever know what it's really like to be who we are. We're all, as the saying goes, lonely ships sailing on a vast sea. But we can't hide away from that truth. We need to find a way to live such that that truth doesn't overwhelm us. And part of that is in remembering that true love equates to individual freedom and the choice to be with another. So if you're spending less time together, it may actually be a sign of growth in your relationship. It may be a sign that you're reclaiming or cultivating your individual self, just as your wife is. This is a good thing. If you're worried, here's the quick fix. If this process of independence is scary to you, see if you can challenge that fear and embrace it just a little bit. Take yourself out for a coffee, without your iPhone, by the way, or just people watch or something. You could write in your diary, or you could take yourself out for a wine at a restaurant, or go to a movie by yourself. The point I'm making here is spend time with yourself to get to know yourself. And hey, you can always reach out to a member of my team for personalized coaching. We're here for you. Okay, most men cringe at the dreaded V word. Not the one you're thinking. Vulnerability. Vulnerability, especially for us men, has become synonymous with weakness and fragility. Men still want to be real men, so they shut up, close down, and get on with it. Now, I'm not saying it's sometimes necessary to drink some concrete, especially if you feel you need to get over your own tendencies towards laziness or a victim mindset. And don't worry about it, that stuff is in all of us. But a crucial aspect of your relationship is, you guessed it, relating to one another. So the final myth is telling her how you feel is a sign of weakness. Your wife doesn't want to be married to a statue or Adam Sandler from Click.
I love you too, Dad.
She wants to connect with a real, flawed, perfectly imperfect yet strong in the face of discomfort human being. She wants a man who can, with honesty and integrity, share his emotions and his inner world with her, but do so in a way that won't have him break down like a child she needs to mother. Your ability to create structure around your emotions may just be the most important skill you can adopt to massively 10x the attraction between you and your wife in the long-term success of your marriage. And this is why I've left capital V, vulnerability, to the end. And this is before I give you the bonus. Listen, man, I get it. You want to be her leader, her rock, her hero, someone she can look at and melt into with an embrace. Your ideal day with her probably includes making love in the morning, cuddling and laughing with each other before the kids bang the bedroom door down and jump on the bed. Then you guys make pancakes for the family and surprise everyone with a road trip to the country house because you've taken the day off work. Something like that, right? You're thinking to yourself, I don't need to tell her about my feelings. I just need to get out of this rut, take charge, and lead the way. Well, you'd be half right. The above ideal scenario is the perfect end goal. It's a fantastic destination to strive for, but life is also about the journey. And relationships are fundamentally about how the both of you relate to one another. For her to feel your trust and safety, she needs to know who you are at your core, and expressing your emotions in a calm way to her shows her that she can safely do the same to you. Let me make this point really clear. All human beings have both a masculine and a feminine nature. Masculinity is typically associated with goal orientation, purpose, logic, structure. It's the go energy in all of us, right? Femininity, it's the joy of the moment. It's pleasure, flow, emotion, vibrancy. Having emotional maturity means being able to relate to your own feminine capacity in a structured and authentic way. Think about it like this. If you can't relate to your own feminine nature, how do you expect to relate to hers? You won't be able to handle it. And so you get defensive when she's expressing herself, or you become a needy nice guy and you appease her. Here's the quick fix. You're going to need a journal for this one. Write and explore a topic you'd feel uncomfortable discussing with your wife. Perhaps it's about some trauma you've experienced, or your sex life, or some sort of sexual fantasy perhaps, or political beliefs, or potentially controversial values, I don't know. Really feel the discomfort arise as you write about the topic in your journal. Don't run away from it. Be a soldier, a hero, standing in the middle of the emotional battleground without armor, ready to cop all that comes your way. The more comfortable you get with being vulnerable and allowing the uncomfortable feelings to wash over you, the better you'll be with having difficult conversations with your wife. Vulnerability is a courageous virtue, not some new age weakness fad thing. All right, we've made it to the end. Well done. And if you've made it this far, my guess is that this content is really resonating with you. So if that's true, I want you to know that we can help. Below, you'll find a link where you can book in a time to speak with a member of our team. They'll go through your specific situation to help you understand why you are where you are, as well as what needs to happen for you to have the kind of relationship you can only dream about right now. So click that link below and I'll see you on the inside.